Culture Talk is brought to you by Horizon, brewed for 24/7, a proudly Namibia Breweries Limited product.
Yeah, that's right. It is time for Culture Talk, proudly brought to you by Horizon. Just checking out the sounds of DJ Maporisa Amatombazane. It's not Friday, but I always say we can party like it's a Friday right here in 99. So we are going to be joined, or we are joined in the studio by, like I said, 1/3 of Black Vulcanite. He goes by the name of Okin, and I just learned today that his name is actually spelled in all caps, so no small letters. So O, capital K, capital I, capital N. So he's in studio to chat to us about what he's been up to, how he's been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and what is next for him in terms of music and, of course, just creativity. So let's welcome Okin. What's up? What's up?
Hey, Jezza, how you doing? It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
And always full of energy. You're always so full of energy. I can't keep up.
You gotta be, though. Otherwise, if you don't have the energy, how do you want to get things really done and also just spawn new ideas? You need that energy.
It's true. How have you been?
I've been good. I think COVID has had a different effect on me than everybody else. I mean, yes, we did lose a lot of income and everything, but at the same time, it allowed us to learn new skills.
Yeah.
And just foster new creative outlets. You know? And that's what it's done for me.
And that's what you've been doing. So let's talk about that creative outlet that you've just now created. Its second season, if I can put it like that. The hashtag From the Jump podcast that you just started. Tell us a bit about the idea behind this podcast.
Okay, so just to correct you, so we're still on season 1.
Oh.
But season 1 is divided into 3 chapters.
Okay.
So we just finished with chapter 2. That episode was released on Monday with DJ Akio, who used to be DJ ID. So basically what I did was, during COVID, I just woke up one day and I was like, a couple of years ago, 2018, when I came back from China with my master's, I decided to do an online radio show, and then I just let it slip. I never did anything. So then during COVID time and the lockdowns and everything, I decided, let's just, pick it up again. I called up a Namibian artist that has been in Australia for the past 15 years. He raps with orchestras, he teaches, he does a lot of things there. So I spoke to him, and that turned into a 3-hour conversation, which then turned into episode 1 of the podcast. And then we just, I decided to interview creatives I know from all walks of life that I've met throughout my journeys, and just have real conversations with them and show fans, other creatives, the behind the scenes conversations that nobody really gets to see that creatives have all the time, like literally all the time.
Yeah. In this whole process of your podcast, you mentioned that you spoke to, you didn't even mention his name.
His name is so his real name is Aaron. His artistic name is 1/6.
1/6.
Yeah.
So, the S's, guys.
Yeah, don't worry, it happens to me too. So 1/6 is the artist that was the first one that we did, and then from there onwards, it was originally supposed to be a Black Vulcanite podcast, and Mark and Ali were busy with everything else. Like, Ali is busy with his studies now again. Mark just finished, but he's starting up some business stuff. So I had to just do it by myself because I had to get started. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten done. So.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible platform, like you said, to discuss things that normally don't get discussed, especially when it comes to creatives. So which other known people have you featured on your podcast?
Well, I hope they're all known. Well, Namibians wise, I have Tanya, of course, who just Baksu and the Giants just went on to Baku and the Giants, just went on to Netflix. I had her on as she was just before Harry. So she was like number 2, episode 2 or 3 of chapter 2. I had Harry, who you also know as MC Harry, also known as Speaker Harry. I've had Sean K on. I do have some other Namibians in chapter 3 coming, so I can't mention who those are. I don't even know why
my name isn't even there.
You see, again,
I don't even get it.
You see,
what's happening?
so many creators have been asking. So basically, with a lot of these creatives, I've known them all for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Generally, like every single one of the creatives that I've interviewed, I've either worked with in a personal capacity as a BV member, or I've known them for over 10 years, just known their journeys. And I just really thought it would be better to interview people that I have a little bit of a repertoire about, so that we can, the convos flow. Like, I have maybe 10 questions, which I ask 3 of, and the rest are just as the conversation comes up.
The conversation flows, like we're doing right now.
Exactly like right now.
Yeah, no, that's important. All right, so you said this is the second chapter that
that's
you
just ended.
It ended on Sunday.
That's correct.
This past Sunday. Okin, in terms of music, I actually didn't want to go into music, but you mentioned that studio time has been quiet and stuff like that. But in terms of you as Okin, as an individual, apart from BV, Black Vulcanite, do you plan on recording some music this year still, or is
I actually have. So I released my single in end of Jan. I released my first single ever.
It feels so far away.
It does,
long
right?
Time ago.
It feels like forever.
Yeah.
I released Dirty Robots Day Off end of Jan. And then I took a little bit of a break because of the podcast stuff and everything. I just did do a song with DJ Lyle in South Africa. He sent me something that he wanted me on. I mean, I do still do features and things, but generally, BV's still busy doing music. I mean, we were in studio about a month ago doing some tracks. So there's still music there. And like, you know, Ali's still doing his own music stuff that has to like wrap up. Mark's still releasing under North of as an individual artist. So we are still doing music. It's just not as easy, not as simple. And, you know, COVID's just throwing things into a bit of a disarray.
COVID came and COVID said, yo, I'm here and I'm not going nowhere.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
But I will tell you that what I have done is incorporate more of the musical acts into the podcast. I mean, all the music that's done, that is the background music, is done by an artist named Avaroots the Roots, who is actually Namibian. So all of his beats, he gave me his entire catalog to use on the podcast for free, as long as I, of course, mention him.
Yeah.
The intro music was done by an artist in Brooklyn, New York, by JLT Music. So like I met in Beijing when I was there. So it's really a thing of collaborating across genres and just, you know, showing people there's more to this creative thing than just the individual industries that you are as an artist in.
It's true. You mentioned that you learned a new skill.
That's correct.
Can you mention that skill?
Well, so the entire podcast is me. I do everything.
So setup, sound.
I recorded everything through Zoom. I learned how to do the sound engineering and like audio fixing. I learned how to do video editing. All of that I learned through YouTube in these past months before I started releasing
YouTube is your best friend.
So now I have a production studio and a music studio, so it's kind of fun.
So it's a production studio that's me and people can come record with you?
Well, no. So the production studio right now, what we're doing is there are other podcasts that are coming out.
Okay.
I have another one coming with what I like to call, he's like my creative sparring partner, like creative business sparring partner. I call him Professor Sneakerhead. So like I have a podcast coming up with him and another Sony Magika, which is another friend of ours. These are just like totally different aspects and viewpoints on life. So it's really about being unadulterated, unfiltered, and just giving people insights into the real life things, you know?
Yeah.
That's basically
So what is the hopes? This already seems like it's going to be a platform that can go really, really far in the future. So what are your future plans? Right now, it's, you know, just having people come through, sit down, have a conversation. But what do you plan on doing with this podcast?
Well, I've always wanted to expose the everyday person to what I've been exposed to in the creative industry. I mean, I've been published in America for over a decade. I've been published in South Africa for more than that. Yet, before that, I was just Nikolai Chonguerero. I wasn't Nikolai TNB, the poet. I wasn't Okin17. I was just a fan of other people's stuff. But I got to work with other creators and walk along with them and be shown different routes. People like Jitsvanger, people like Mzo that used to run Head Honcho, people like Youngster that I worked with randomly. You know, like these are creatives that, it's not that managers put you in touch with each other, it's just the creative aspects and how you guys vibe with each other that allows it.
An important thing as well is creatives coming together and working together. It's also a culture we want to create amongst creatives, is that we need to work together.
Exactly. Nobody's an island.
Exactly.
Nobody's an island. And we can go so far together. I mean, when I did this podcast, I wrote one email, I sent it to everybody, and literally 85% of them, that's why season 2, I already have everybody lined up.
Yeah.
Because it's the people that I couldn't fit in season 1. They're like, yo, when are we getting started shooting?
When are we doing this?
So,
I love it.
It's brilliant.
So for the folks tuning in right now, Okin, where can we check out? Obviously, to watch previous episodes, where can we watch and check out your podcast?
All right, so everything is on IGTV, so Instagram TV, you'll find all the full episodes. Recently, we just got put onto Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Red Circle. So we're on a lot of
everywhere. Basically on everything.
So I love research. So I just researched how to do it.
Yeah.
How to make sure that I still hold ownership of my content. That's why I didn't go with Anchor. I rather went with Red Circle, because Anchor is owned by Spotify, so they actually still own your content then, and it's difficult to get back. So it's all things like this that you learn by being in the industry and finding out. And then also just teaching other people. I speak to a lot of people that have podcasts as well. So, you know, it's brilliant. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's new. And at the end of the day, I'm just trying to build the media empire, yo. That's it. I'm just trying to take over.
Together we can definitely get that done.
Definitely.
You seem very excited and very happy about this podcast, and I'm happy for you. And I am going to wait for my invitation. Okay?
I know, definitely it's going to come
I'm waiting
through.
for my invitation.
But your Hoodlum studio invite will come before the podcast one. So you can, you know, just be at ease and see how everything works.
All right, so okay, 2020 is almost over. What does 2021 look like for you?
Mad money. I'm trying to, like with OKIN17, or so Okin Enterprises, which is actually the mother company that everything falls under, I'm trying to get everybody paid. Fair prices, creatives, voiceover artists, everybody. But to do that, we also need to speak to each other as creatives and realize if we undercut each other, we're not helping anybody that's fighting for us.
We
need to communicate and we need to help each other in this.
There we
can go far.
We can, if we do it together.
And all get paid.
If we do it together, we can go far and all get paid. You heard it from Okin himself. Okin, thank you for coming through. It's always a pleasure to have you,
thank you for
in
having
the studio and to come share your energy and your good vibes here at 99.
Blessings.
And wish you the best with all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. And Namibia, keep tuning in to 99 FM. It's the only place to be.
You heard it. That's your Culture Talk right here on 99. We're heading into our final hour as well. So if you are just tuning in now, where have you been? The show started at 12 hours on air since 6 this morning.